Welcome to the Don Sirius Show. Whether you're a curious mind or someone seeking inspiration, the Don Sirius Show is your go-to destination. We promise to ignite your curiosity and leave you with fresh insights after each episode. So subscribe, tune in, and enlighten your mind.
This might be too old for the young people, but rewind, because I don't want to do a lot of uhs and shit. This might be too old for the young people, but tag team back again. Yeah, this is Don Sirius with your co-host Queen Supa Dupa. Welcome to the Don Sirius Show. How y'all doing today? We don't hear you because you're not in the audience. Let me just
That's funny. But
yes.
welcome everybody.
Yes, welcome to the Don Sirius Show. We are glad to have you viewing with us, and welcome back to another phenomenal episode. And today we are going to be talking about crappy jobs. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Stuck in a crappy job at that.
ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we define crappy jobs?
Hold up, before we define crappy jobs, can we also say crappy careers too? Stuck in a crappy career or have a crappy career? Crappy job,
Okay.
crappy
Okay.
career. And
Mm.
to define a crappy job or a crappy career, oh, that's kind of hard because jobs come and go, and careers is like you invested a lot of time, money, and energy into getting into a career. So let's start with the job first. Crappy job to me, by definition, is a job that doesn't pay a lot, and they want a lot of your time and energy and mucho muscle, as they say in the El Segundo Espanol, habla español language. They want a lot of your mucho muscle, body, sweat, and tears and time for the minimum little pay, and they give you a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things to do, and they're very dysfunctional and unorganized, and you have crappy, shitty coworkers as well, and you have a real fucked up ass supervisor. You want to add to it, or did I get it right?
Um, okay, so for me, I'm gonna say if I were to define a crappy job,
Yeah.
my 44 years of living in the United States of America as a
Mm.
black woman,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a crappy job would not only include some or most, if not all, of the things that you said, but also uh say I love my career, but also as a part of the job that I'm working at, the environment is toxic. The environment is not suitable for me to be able to practice self-preservation.
Okay. Okay. Self-preservation. Okay. Toxic
I'm
environment.
I'm overextending myself and I'm not even getting anything out of it. I am spending time away from my family and I'm being taken advantage of. Just an overall toxic environment. And also just keeping in mind that we are living in the United States of America
Yeah.
where it just seems like it's a problem to pay people livable wages. It's a problem to offer people affordable health care even when you're working.
Who you said livable wages? Oh, because are we still
Livable
talking about
wages,
job wise?
affordable health care, and and so this is the reason why I talk about the toxic environment, because keep in mind that the toxic environment is going to be taxing on your mental health.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
From
if
the
your
last
mental
episode.
health is being taxed, then guess what is going to follow?
What's next?
Your physical health.
Hey, and as a trucker, oh my God, let's not even go there with the physical health. All right, yeah, as a trucker, and Okay, before we go any further, I just want to throw this out there. I lived in Germany for 3 years when I was in the military, and when I went to stores like their Walmarts and grocery stores and Kroger's and all that, they have all of that. They have all of that. I promise you, when I walked in, I was flabbergasted, overwhelmed, and shocked, and all of the above when I saw the employees all sitting down behind the register and checking you out. And what's that store that was owned by the Germans? It's a grocery store. Which one is that? Because I think in America you go in that one and they're sitting down. It's on the tip of my brain, but I can't remember the name of it. A lot of people I know actually like that store. Is it Aldi's? Do they
Oh,
sit down at
really?
Aldi's?
I
I think
believe
they sit
so.
down at
They
Aldi's.
sit down in all these, and you have to pay for your bags.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I get that part, but they definitely do sit down, and that is definitely a
Oh, and
European thing.
you have to have a quarter to get your cart.
Okay, okay. Well, but their environment seems like it's a good environment to either have a career there or have a job there because they seem to care about the employees because you're talking about health and you're talking about standing up and you get a 30-minute break. If you've been working 8 hours or 4.5 hours, then you get just a 30-minute break. You got to sprint, swallow your food. You don't get time to let your body just naturally digest your food. So that's problems and stuff like that. So you may continue. I just wanted to put that out there. Oh, and
Yes.
about the, hold up before you continue. I also forgot about that Germany has free healthcare. They have high taxes, but guess what? I do salute the Germans or the Deutsch people, Deutschland people. They highway, Autobahn, and their environment and their recycling and their sanitation is superb over there, clean. They don't have dilapidated highways, so they take their tax money and they put it to use. And if you are a German citizen, you get free health care. And that's not even a communist country anymore. But it's actually a Republican country too. And they have a lot of liberal ways, which over here it seems like, liberal and what's the opposite of liberal? Conservatism.
Conservative.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Conservative clashes a lot over here, but no, they have free healthcare over there. But
Well,
no, I don't.
and that's that's very interesting that she say that, even though this isn't a conversation about politics. But I will say that I do think that it is possible to have the best of both worlds, the best of liberal ideologies and the best of the conservative ideologies. I think that those things, while again this is not a political conversation, I do believe that
Yeah.
those things would help our greatly help the American society, is learning how to balance those things, those two things.
Mm.
I, for one, consider myself a centrist because I feel like there's something from both sides. Like, I think that,
Hold up. You said a what? A who? A centrist?
yes, a centrist,
Remember we
meaning
had
I'm
this
in the
conversation?
center. I'm in the center. I'm
Okay.
in the middle.
See, that's that stuff
Mhm.
we was talking about earlier a couple of days ago. You'll use a word, and I'm like, uh-oh, I think I'm learning from Super Duper, a centrist. Go ahead.
Yes.
But now I know you're in the center. Okay, you're like
Yes.
neutral.
Yeah.
Got it.
When this past election was going on, people were so, you're voting for Kamala, and oh, you're voting for Trump. Well,
I told you I got
I actually
ostracized.
want to hear from both sides. I'm
Yeah.
neither Democrat nor Republican. I want to hear from both sides, and I actually want to objectively make the best choice, right? And so, all of that to say, I think that if we could find a good balance between being conservative and
Liberal.
being liberal,
Yeah.
that it would greatly help our society. Like, it would help bridge the gap between having, a job with livable wages and having affordable health care. It may not solve all of the problems, but I think that based on just Americans as a whole, just how we are. I
But
don't know that we would ever get to a place where we would have free health care, but I would be satisfied with affordable health care, accessible health care,
but guess what?
not
Before
having
you
the prescription so high and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
I'm a veteran, so I don't. tend to have to worry about prescription, but I'm not into pharmaceutical meds. I'm definitely into the more like the holistic way of living. Hold on. Excuse me. But what I'm trying to get at is that when you was explaining it, like how they can be in the middle over here in America, I think, in my opinion, the liberals over here to me are not like the liberals in Germany. I like the liberals in Germany. In America, I can't stand the liberals because I feel like what I saw in Germany was the true definition of a liberal, and I don't know how to define it with a sentence or a paragraph. But what I viewed with my own two eyes was that liberal over there means like legal prostitution. They have to take HIV tests once a month or whatever. Nobody goes to jail for selling their services, which is their body. Another idea that I seen over there that was liberal was you could drink out in public. You don't get arrested for drinking out in public. Beer is a part of their culture, of course, but you don't get in trouble for drinking alcohol in public. They even have beer fest. They do not do high speed chases over there. They set up cameras. If you speed past it in a certain area that has a speed posted, they mail you a ticket. You go to see if it's your ticket. If the picture is blurry and you say that ain't me, they throw it out. They license or DMV kind of a system. If you get a no seatbelt ticket, that's like a point against you, like 1 point. If you get a certain kind of thing like DUI, that's like a lot of points. And they go up to a 12-point tier system back then. Probably still the same though. And what I'm getting at is that if you go past the threshold of 12 points, even if you got a DUI, you lose your license just for the rest of that year. Next year, you start all over again from scratch. And that's like they very liberal, but over here, liberal is like different. Like they not really liberal to me. They like just want to have different things to hoop and holler. And then the conservative people, they want to have stuff to hoop and holler. I just think they just going tit for tat. And why they going tit for tat? Ain't nobody like raising the like I know the state is state for state, but in the federal runs all the state, but every state got different minimum wages. Every state has different cost of living. So if you go to like live in a like say Denver and you got a good paying job, that's cool, but your rent is gonna be like 3 times the amount where you had a nice apartment in Louisiana. And if you go to New York, and you want to live in Manhattan, oh my God, let's not even talk about what I heard about the rent in a 1 bedroom apartment in Manhattan. And they just like, but those people work for Wall Street and they make such and such an hour and da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, but bro, the dude is like spending like 5-6 grand a fucking month on fucking rent, dog. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? That's like him, even if he made 100,000 a year, that's like shit, he making like 60,000 in other states. It's like almost borderline minimum wage up in New York. You know what I mean? I mean, place might be nice, but we may continue because I want to know what is the difference between a job versus a career. And let's see here. Are you in a bad job, or are you your entire career path? What's this says? Oh man, let me read. Misaligned with your goals. I got the shades on. That's why. So let me read it again because I might have to edit that part out. Job versus career. What is the difference? Are you in a bad job? Or are you in an entire career path misaligned with your goals? Like for real, misaligned with your goals. I mean, I kind of feel like some careers will have you going down a different path and your goals could be totally far-fetched from your career.
I mean, I think that one could start off with a job and find their career
Yeah, I agree with that.
because sometimes we get degrees and we have a difficult time, niching down into exactly the quote unquote career. So we first end up with a job. The job provides us with networking opportunities, and it may lead us to uh, a different area altogether, and give us another level of experience. It may inspire us to seek higher education, even higher education, masters or whatever the case may be. I think that there are people who have jobs and they are fine with it. Like I would think like people who drive the school buses for years. I don't know that that is necessarily a career, but it is something that people have spent decades doing, and they do it and continue to do it, one because it more than likely pays the bills, but also because they probably enjoy being around the children and so on and so forth, and the relationships that they've developed, seeing the children grow up, so on and so forth. I think it might be a little bit different now because these children are out of hand, okay,
Oh
here
yeah,
in the
I don't
year
think
of
I could
our
do that.
Lord 2025.
Yeah,
But
I don't think I
you
could do that.
know but I'm just using that as an example, where people are, may have jobs, because I don't know that I could really classify a school bus driver as a career, unless we're just saying that driving a commercial vehicle is a career. Would you consider that a career? I don't know, but it just seems like it's a job. That's their job.
Let me throw myself under the bus right now. I have commercial license and it's considered a trade. And I have a friend from high
Hmm.
school and that Negro got a PhD. And so I guess he had been seeing me driving trucks for years. And when that nigga finally caught up with me on the phone, that nigga bit my fucking head off and told me, "Oh man, you drive trucks, man, you can do better than it, man. Hey, I see you flying the drones, man. You could come up there and teach drone flight at the college, man. You know I'm the professor, the dean, da da da, whatever the position is." And I'm like, bro,
Hmm.
I'm like, what you mean, man? What's wrong with driving trucks, bro? I damn near probably make the same as some PhD people, man. Like some doctors, they don't know how
No
to put a cap
shade.
on us. They can't put a cap on us because like we have different endorsements and different specializations in trucking. And so like even when you said school bus or Greyhound, you have to have commercial license. Didn't anybody even know that you have to have a CDL to drive trucks to even operate a train? Like if you want to be a engineer, a train engineer, a conductor or whatever, you have to go get the commercial license to drive commercial vehicles because the train runs off
Hmm.
air brakes. Nobody really talks about that, but them people that probably drive them trains with all that freight probably make more than the truck driver, depending on the circumstances. But yeah, that dude bit my fucking head off, and I hope he fucking hear that shit. Cause that, and then when I tried to kind of like tone him down a little bit, like what, huh? I'm like, bro, and he's like, yeah, my mom dated the trucker, he wasn't shit, da da. And then he said everything, and said, all right, man, I holler at you, and he hung up on my motherfucking face. I say, oh wow, this nigga is bold. This nigga didn't just came at me
Wow.
like my motherfucking job slash career is just bullshit. Okay, all right,
So
whatever, nigga.
do you consider yourself as a commercial driver? Do you can feel like that is your trade? Is that your career? Do you feel like that's your career?
Yeah, I do feel like it's my career. I will be honest. I do feel like that's my career
Okay.
because it takes a little bit of schooling and it's very dangerous. It pays pretty good. You do a lot of hours,
Okay.
and the longer you do it, the more experience you get, the more opportunities open up. And I feel like this is like maybe one of my, I'm probably like on my second career. I wouldn't call it a third because my first one was the military, and then I went back to school to get into another career, and I never jumped into that. And I needed money
Hmm.
right away, and I needed big money to do the things and the goals. So this one actually aligned with my goals because it gave me a little bit more freedom. I can take off whenever I want to. I can rally up a lot of cash in a short period of time. I can blow it really fast too, but it allows me to go take. Yeah, I can blow it really fast too, but it allows me to go out and do things like I want to do. Like if I want to go take off for 2 weeks because I didn't rally up like 3 months worth of cash, I don't need a fucking vacation. I just go. I like, hey, I see you. I let them know whoever I'm doing work for, whoever I got a contract with, I'll be back in 2 weeks. And I give them the appropriate amount of time, whatever they require for me to tell them, and I'm out of there and I'll be back. And for those week, 3 days, 2 weeks, you can almost stay going up to almost a whole month if that's how much money you got racked up. But after the 30th day, that's like involuntary, like quitting or whatever. But
Hmm.
it,
Hmm.
yeah, the perks for trucking got its highs and its lows. And when you was talking about health, trucking is not healthy because in the army we used to do convoys when we train, and if you get deployed to another country and you there for peacekeeping or rather a war, they do have to move the equipment and personnel around. So sometimes you do long convoys. And what I learned from the military is that you cannot sit in that seat. Now, convoys, sometimes you have no choice. It might take you 8 hours to move from A to B. But when you get there, they trying to make sure they get you somewhere safe so you can elevate your feet. You cannot sit in that seat that long because the blood circulation, all kind of stuff. And my sister is a registered nurse, and she can explain that to you even more in detail. But they teach you a lot of things about anatomy in the military, and I learned that trucking is not that healthy for you. And then in America, at least the military was trying to give us some decent food. In America, as trucking go, they fucking shit on truckers though. They shit on us because they hike up the price on this nasty, unhealthy ass food, and then they charge extra for fuel. Like if I take my dually and go to a regular gas station, right now diesel might be $3.39. But if you go into the truck stop, it's the same fucking diesel fuel. It's just up like 40 more percent. You know what I mean? 40 cent more, not 40%, but like it went from like 329, 330 to like 385, 371, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's that part. And the next
Sounds like you're filing your grievances. Okay,
yeah, 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 yeah. Crappy
okay.
job.
I'm a
Crappy
listening
job.
ear. I'm
Yeah,
no
crappy
judgment here.
crappy motherfucking job, yo. You know. So I'm here to put it out there. And the next one is Paycheck Trap. I know about those fuckers too.
Paycheck. Say it
Trap.
again.
Paycheck.
Paycheck trap.
Yeah,
Now,
Paycheck
what is
Trap.
meant by that? Are we talking about being perpetually stuck in payday loans? Okay,
How
is that
bills,
what we
debt,
mean by
and
paycheck trap?
financial.
The or living from paycheck to paycheck. You don't know if you're gonna quite have enough to pay the rent this time, or whatever.
No,
You
no, no,
got
no.
you. Mm.
Hold up. I'm talking about how bills, debt, and financial obligations keep you bound to a job because if you fucking quit that shit, you fucked.
And I think that's all. I think that's all of us. Like I can't just up and I can't up and quit right now. I'm trying to get there.
So what you saying? We all stuck in the fucked up rat race?
Well, honey, I mean, I
I,
am.
I mean, it's okay
I
because like
I mean, I'm on
it's
here
fuck
with
it,
you
bro.
because what? Because what we do? What we trying to do? What we trying to do? We trying to we trying to make this. We try to get this
Residual
internet
income.
money.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what you call it,
we try
residual
to
income.
we try to get this internet money. So I'm just saying,
Hey, you know what? That's one residual.
up until then, yes, honey, I'm in the paycheck trap, honey. Definitely down there in the trap. Okay. I bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. Okay.
Let me
It's
fix the microphone.
just, I'm just looking out now for me. Now I'm in the paycheck trap. However, I will say that I don't mind doing my job. It it's not that bad. They actually offer a decent wage. It's not the wage that I desire, but it's a decent wage. Um, they pay me decent, okay, and and they offer affordable health care. Like I'm not out of pocket so much. And I couldn't believe it. They even have the state beat. I
Really?
cannot believe that. I'm like I was actually blown away. I always thought that if you work for the state, your government jobs, that guaranteed you the best health care that your state could offer.
Look, let
Okay.
me tell you something. If the federal
And
government
I
pay like
have
shit,
been
the states definitely gotta pay like shit.
well, it depends on where you are in the United States. That's what I've learned.
We was talking about that earlier.
I've worked for the state in two different states, and the Midwest state, Minnesota definitely treated me very well. I was paid very nicely. Everything was cool. Then I liked my job there as well. And even the aspects of it that I didn't like, it really wasn't a big deal because they were paying me nicely and we were working from home, and and didn't have to go in, didn't have to see these people. And because that's the one thing, like my current job, now I am going in twice a week. And I have a little bit of anxiety about that because, baby, it be the cold season and honey, and people are nasty. And
Yeah.
don't I don't want to see you nickels. Okay. I don't want to be around these good white people. Okay. I don't want to be. Okay. I just don't want to be, honey, because they be coughing and hacking. And then next thing somebody, such and such, they out sick. I'm like, dang, I just saw them in the elevator 2 days ago.
Hey, that's a good thing about trucking
Yeah,
though. You
it's
be
and
riding by yourself.
they was real close to me, breathing down my neck, child. It probably done gave me old nasty piece of cold or something like that.
Guess
Thank
what? I,
goodness.
I never caught COVID. I never ever caught COVID. I
Me
broke my
neither.
wrist like hauling cars during the COVID era. And when I went to the VA hospital to get my wrist fixed, I had to have surgery. That's how bad I broke it. And they wanted to give me a COVID test. And I was damn near boohoo crying. Like, I don't want to do that test because I ain't sticking it. And then what if I do get COVID or I have COVID? Y'all not going to give me no surgery. And they was like, nah, you just come back in 2 weeks. And they tested me and I never had COVID. Never. Yeah, but with trucking, you by yourself, so you don't have to be around.
I never caught it either. I was never vaccinated, any of that. I
Yeah, me
was
neither.
very.
Ooh, that's a big conversation to this
And
very day.
that's
Even though,
but I'm gonna tell you now. I know we're talking about crappy jobs, but I'm gonna tell you that's what have made the two jobs that I've had in the last 5 years not be crappy jobs, because I did not have to worry about doing anything in regards to vaccinations or anything like that. Now that's what made them not crappy jobs. Okay.
well, long story short, trucking is definitely a it's a fucking crappy job. Let me go ahead and put it out there. But you could find one that kind of takes you out of the non-crappy job world because you do kind of have to like driving trucks. And I've always given driving trucks a scale on a 1 to 10, 10 that you love it. I always gave it a 7. But right now, I'm leaning on a 6 and a 5 because I've been doing this for a decade and I don't see trucking really getting you ahead. It's all those mega companies want to use us little people like peons and pawns to keep them fucking filthy rich, and also be, now they didn't change the phrase up, the donor class. That ain't like they used to call them the lobbyists, but now they on the news like the donor class, the donor class, the donor class. And I was like, what the fuck is the donor class? And I was like, oh, when I figured it
What
out
is
and looked it
that?
up, the
Let's
donor
talk about
class,
it.
yeah, the donor class is
Teach
like
me something.
corporate, huh? Yeah, the donor class are corporations who donate wealth or their money rather to certain politicians to give them so-called money to use to campaign for whatever position they're running for, whether a congresswoman or congressman or congressman or whatever, or a president. And so what the person does is promise them something. We don't know exactly what it is. And if I can give you an example of certain promises, if you look at the FDA, if you look at the USDA, whatever, the ones that deal with the food, medicine, some of these people worked for people like say what's that good one that does the they do the whole modifying Monsanto's. So if you go,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you go look at Monsanto's at particular years, and now it's probably easier with the fake AI stuff. If you go say, please show me a CEO who worked for Monsanto's but later worked for the federal government. They leave that area and they come to the federal government and then they be like in charge of a certain department, just like treasurer, secretary, blah blah, secretary, treasurer, that they hold those
Mm-hmm.
positions. So it's like those companies were lobbying their money to politicians, so they promised something. So that person came and worked over there in federal government. Then they left there, and this person left this pharmaceutical company and went to work for uh, the FDA, or that place where they keep all that serious disease and viruses over there at CDC in Atlanta, Georgia, which I thought that was kind of like not coincidental to me because in the 80s, when I was growing up, Atlanta used to be considered the black mecca where everybody black need to grow and go and grow. And when I moved there, I found out that the fucking CDC is in Atlanta. I'm like, well, what the fuck? So if some shit happened there, the first people to go is the majority of the black people. Because if we was all move here like a fucking mecca, like the fucking world's dangerous viruses and illnesses and diseases and shit is hell in the fucking ground in Atlanta, Georgia.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, a lot of niggas were over there partying in the club, and I remember what's that club? Was it 112? Yeah, they had the club called 112. The group got named after 112. All the people over there chilling with Jermaine Dupri and all that back in the 90s, and the Brat and Outkast and Goody Mob and 1 million niggas inside. Yeah, all that shit. But guess what? CDC is right around the corner. And actually, 112 wasn't even that far from CDC. For real shit. Real shit. CDC is not too far from Chester Bridge Road if you live in Buckhead of Atlanta. Because I lived there for 8 years. And that motherfucker is right around the corner.
Okay, come on, Bankhead.
Yeah. No, Buckhead. I lived in Buckhead. I don't live in
Buckhead,
Bankhead.
Buckhead, Buckhead.
Yeah. I don't, yeah. Oh, no, Bankhead. I love people from Bankhead, but man, your head gonna be on a swivel. You gonna fuck around and get cramps. Your head be turning so motherfucking, you gonna get cramps in your neck from your head swiveling all the time.
I'm from
No.
Georgia. I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm just not from Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
almost,
mean,
what up, folk?
I I know. I mean, I know that there's various aspects where someone could, derive that they are in a crappy job.
Yeah.
It, I think that,
I was just in a crappy job.
I mean, but were you in a space where you were like, I'm trying to get out, or were you trying to stick it out and just, hoping that it will get better? Because, you know, sometimes.
I got caught in the trap. I ain't gonna even lie. I got caught in
Oh,
the
you
trap.
got caught. You got caught in the paycheck trap.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay,
I
well,
came
I
out here.
mean, I bees in the trap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I left one
That's why
trap.
I'm on the internet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to
At
make
least
a
the internet
trying to make a little
it's
change on the internet.
yeah, the internet's different though. So I feel like it could trap you, but that means it could trap you because you're getting so much money. Not trap you because you're in a paycheck trap because the internet has vast amounts and probably uncountable ways you could approach this and generate some money. But I don't feel like it's a trap in a bad way at all. I feel like once you get trapped on the internet, that means you must be making like 30, 40, 60 racks a month or something like that. Because that's good money from just sitting where you sitting and using technology instead of using your physical body and damaging your body and stressing your body out and helping rapidly age you quicker to move forward these donor class corporations. Let me go back to that.
The Don Sirius Show.